Hello, and welcome back to Quiet Strength with Kukua, a place where ancient wisdom quietly strengthens everyday life. Today, we are exploring a verse that might surprise you. It is honest, very honest. In fact, it might be one of the most realistic verses in the entire Bible. Listen carefully. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 20, and I read, "Indeed, there is no one on earth who is righteous, no one who does what is right and never sins." Now that is refreshingly honest, right? No perfect people. None. Not even the person who looks perfect on social media. Not even the neighbor who somehow manages to water their plants, cook amazing meals, exercise daily, and still smile all the time. According to this ancient wisdom from the Bible, everyone makes mistakes. Today, I want to tell you a story about a man who tried very hard to be perfect and discovered something much more important. In a small village lived a man named Daniel. Daniel had a reputation. He was known as the most disciplined man in town. Every morning he woke up before sunrise. He organized his tools, cleaned his house, practiced his work carefully. Daniel believed one thing very strongly. If I do everything right, life will go perfectly. Now, that sounds reasonable, right? But there was a problem. Yes, Daniel always believed something else. If anything goes wrong, it must mean I failed. And that belief slowly began to exhaust him. One day, Daniel baked bread for the village gathering. He followed the perfect recipe, measured every ingredient carefully, checked the oven twice. But when the bread came out, it was burnt. Daniel stared at it like it had betrayed him. How could this happen? Meanwhile, his neighbor laughed gently and said, "Bread bends sometimes." Daniel sighed, "But I followed every step." The neighbor smiled and replied, "My friend, perfection is not guaranteed even when effort is." Daniel began noticing something troubling. Every mistake felt huge. If he dropped a tool, he felt embarrassed. If he forgot something small, he felt like a failure. If someone corrected him, he took it personally. Trying to be perfect had turned life into a stressful exam. And unfortunately, life gives surprise quizzes every day. One afternoon, a traveling teacher arrived in the village. He gathered people under a large tree and shared wisdom. During the discussion, he mentioned the writings of Solomon, who reflected deeply on life. And he quoted the verse we heard earlier. "There is no one on earth who is righteous, no one who does what is right and never sins." Daniel frowned. "That can't be right," he said. The teacher smiled gently. "Why not?" Daniel replied, "Surely someone out there lives perfectly." The teacher chuckled. "My friend, if such a person existed, the rest of us would probably hide whenever they walked into the room." the teacher explained something important. Human beings are wonderfully capable, but we are also wonderfully imperfect. We forget things. We misjudge situations. We say words we wish we could take back. We learn slowly. But that is part of being human. Even the wisest people in history made mistakes. That is why the Bible includes stories of flawed heroes, because growth matters more than perfection. The villagers decided to play a small game. They called it the Perfect Day Challenge. The goal was simple: try to go an entire day without making a mistake. The results were entertaining. One man spilled water before breakfast. A woman burned toast. A child accidentally knocked over a basket of apples. By noon, everyone has failed, even Daniel. He tripled over a bucket, which the villagers agreed was both unfortunate and slightly funny. The lesson became obvious. Perfection wasn't realistic. Something interesting happened after that day. Daniel began relaxing, not becoming careless, but becoming kinder to himself. When mistakes happened, he learned to laugh. When something went wrong, he adjusted. Instead of chasing perfection, he focused on improvement. And strangely, life felt light. The book of Ecclesiastes is honest about life. It reminds us that humans are limited. But that is not depressing. It is actually thrilling. Because when we accept our imperfections, we stop pretending. We become ourselves, just the way we are. And when we stop pretending, we start growing. The teacher later explained something deeper. The point of Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 20 is not to discourage us. It is to remind us that humility matters. When we realize we are imperfect, we become more patient with others, more forgiving, more compassionate, because we understand something important. Everyone is learning. Everyone is growing. Everyone is figuring things out. Months later, someone asked Daniel, "Are you still trying to live perfectly?" Daniel smiled and said, "No. Now I'm trying to live wisely." That meant doing his best, learning from mistakes, helping others when they struggled, and remembering that growth is a journey, not a performance. Now, let's reflect on the lessons this verse taught us. 1. Perfection is not the goal. Growth is. 2. Mistakes are part of learning. Every wise person has made many mistakes. 3. Humility builds stronger relationships. When we accept our imperfections, we treat others with grace. And 4. Life becomes lighter when we stop pretending. Authenticity brings peace. Ecclesiastes reminds us of something beautifully honest. No one is perfect. Not you, not me, not the most impressive person in the world. And that is okay, because wisdom isn't about never failing. Wisdom is about learning, growing, and becoming better with time. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with Quiet Strength with Kukua. If this story encouraged you, share it with someone who might need a reminder that being human is not about perfection, but about progress. And remember, even imperfect people can live lives full of wisdom, kindness, and quiet strength. Until next time, Stay hopeful, stay humble, and keep growing in quiet strength. Bye.